My FPL Game Week 18 team selection. What am I going to do with my team for Game Week 18? I have a couple of transfers in mind, although some of those transfer plans have been faltered due to some of the injury concerns in my team, but I have come up with a decent enough plan to move past it as we go into Game Week 18. Talk about my bench boost, how my team fared also in Game Week 17. We're going to look at all this in my Game Week 18 team selection. Welcome back everyone, FPL.CARNAGE here. As always, let's take a look at how my team fared in Game Week 17 before we take a look at my transfer plans for Game Week 18 as well as my team selection. In Game Week 17 rather, I scored a total of 75 points. So let's take a look at my players. I had Raya and goal, who returned 7 points with that clean sheet against Everton over the weekend. Not their best game of the season, but they managed to get the 3 points. Also managed to keep Everton from scoring, which was good for me because I was doubled up on the Arsenal defense, having Timber also in my defense, who returned 6 points. Raya picked up a bonus point. We made it 7 for him. One of my transfer ends for last week repaid the fates by returning 6 points, a clean sheet in the game against West Ham, which was O'Reilly, who I brought in place to replace Daniel Munoz. And my third defender was Marcus Senesi, who returned just 4 points in that game against Burnley. He could have had a lot more than that. He was on for 3 bonus points and a possible clean sheet till Burnley wipes that clean sheet, and he dropped to just the 1 bonus point. So just the 4 points from him. Foden also with 3 points, Saka 3 points, Minte all returning 3 points. Foden could have easily gotten an assist in that game against West Ham. Unfortunately, Haaland didn't score from the first strike, from the assist also from Foden, so he didn't get that assist. Saka, another really frustrating game week because he could have easily taken that penalty ball, handed it over to Gyökeres, who converted the chance to give Arsenal the lead and the win against Everton. Minte hasn't really returned any goal involvement in his last 3 to 4 game weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So just the 3 points from him. I am not really upset about that because he has really nice fixtures coming up. So also I had Bruno Fernandes, who had to come off at halftime in the game against Aston Villa due to a hamstring problem. I did think he was playing really well up until that point. It was just unfortunate that he had to come off for the injury. And Wilson also, who has a slight knock and returned just 2 points in that game. Up top, I had Erling Haaland, who returned 32 points as my captain. Thiago also returning 2 points. Kudos to the FPL managers who went for the triple captain on Haaland this week. Haaland returning 2 goals and 1 assist and picking up all 3 bonus points in that game against West Ham. Currently, I think they're the second. I think he has the most goals against them currently amongst all Premier League teams. I think he has 11 goals against them so far. So brilliant return from him again. Could have easily had a hat-trick in that game, but Lewis failed to square the ball. So just 32 points from him as my captain. On my bench, another failed chip used this season. Honestly, I am glad we have this first set out of the way. Hopefully you can make better use of the second once we get in the second half of the season. Just the 6 points from my bench was really frustrating because it could have been a lot more. Guehi lost another point after Leeds scored the 4th goal, and then Crystal Palace cancelled Leeds clean sheets, which I was banking on, with that late penalty that they conceded. So it was just real chaotic towards the ending of that game. Could have easily got 11-12 points from my bench boost, but ended up being just 6, so that really sucked. But just a slight red arrow back to 1.7 million. Hopefully we can turn things around with a couple of transfer targets that I have in mind going into Game Week 18. But this is what my team scored. I can't really complain. I still love the shape of my team. I like the current structure going into the second half of the season. So yeah, let's take a look at what my team is shaping up to look like going into Game Week 18. I am going to be starting Raya at home to Brighton. Brighton currently still has a lot of injury problems, so let's hope that it's enough to keep them from scoring and Arsenal from conceding in this game, because I am still going to be doubled up on the Arsenal defense with Raya and Timber starting for me. O'Reilly is also going to be starting away at Forest. Nuri is still injured. I believe O'Reilly keeps his spots like he has for the past 11-12 game weeks in the Premier League. he is really, really great attacking wise as well. Picks up a few defcons every now and then, so he's a really great asset to own. My third defender who I am going to be bringing in is Virgil van Dijk at home to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, I know that Liverpool haven't been on the best run of form, but I couldn't afford the route to get Ekitike when I, decided to sell Bruno Fernandes. And I just didn't see the rush in selling Thiago. Yes, he has blanked in his last 4 game weeks, but it just didn't seem ideal to me. Liverpool have a high chance of actually keeping a clean sheet in 3 of their next 4 games, and Van Dijk is a really valuable asset from corners. So we may see him pick up a goal or even an assist in one of these games with a possible clean sheet. He's good for defcons as well, nailed on his minutes, so I don't see why not, right? Moving on to my midfield, I have Phil Foden away at Forest. Hopefully he can get back to goal scoring form, return something. He has been a really, really key player in Man City's revival this season. So I think he will continue to keep his place in the starting 11 and probably return to goal scoring form as well against Forest. Saka is my second midfielder at home to Brighton. A decent enough record against them. He did get the rest in their midweek game against Crystal Palace, but he was called upon around the 70th minute mark to try and effect a change in the game. They did get a goal from one of his corners that was taken. Unfortunately, it was an own goal, but yeah, Arsenal went on to win the game in penalty shootout. So I think Saka starts this game at home to Brighton, so that's great for Saka owners at the moment. Minte is my third midfielder away at Arsenal. It's not going to be the most open-ended game for Brighton. I don't know what the probability of his goal involvement is in this game. Honestly, I'm also looking at putting him on the bench and starting Goodmanson away at Sunderland. So it is something I am considering. It's just that I don't really fancy benching an attacker for a defender. Also seeing that Sunderland have been really good at home this season, and my Leeds asset is away. Leeds have also been really good in their couple of previous game weeks. Last 4 or 5 game weeks they've been really good. So it could be an end-to-end game. It could be a tight game where we see 0-0, a 0-0 scoreline. So I am still contemplating whether or not to start Minte. But if I do not decide to start him, I could go for Goodmanson. I could go for Guehi, who also got the equalizing goal for Crystal Palace in that Arsenal game in the EFL Cup tie. So it's just a 50-50 for now. Wilson is my fourth midfielder away at West Ham. He did come off with a knock in that game against Forest, but I think he should be fit enough to play in that game against West Ham. My fifth midfielder at the moment is Bruno Fernandes, who I haven't taken out yet. Now I have 3 options at the moment, which are Cunha, Florian Wirtz, and Anthony Gordon, right? I love Anthony Gordon's fixture run, despite the fact, they have Man U coming up, and then they have a couple of nice games. I think they have Burnley, they have Leeds, I think they have West Ham as well. I am just worried about his minutes, right? Because he may start some of those games, he may, come from the bench, and once he does start, he may get, taken off at the 70th minute mark, at the 60th minute mark. So it's just a 50-50 risk thing. Do you believe that he would have gotten his goal involvement before then? Or can he get a goal involvement when he does come off the bench? But you have more secure minutes when you look at the likes of Cunha, who is also most likely going to be on penalty duties as well, with the absence of Bruno Fernandes and Mbeumo currently at AFCON. He is going to be their creative outlet. I think you'll see him play more in the number 10 role with Šeško up front. So Cunha is a really great asset. He has also a really great, nice fixture run after the Newcastle game. So he is a really strong alternative for me, as well as Florian Wirtz, who has a decent run of games. We could see him pick up his first goal of the season in one of these games. So it's not a really bad option in my opinion. I'm considering just 3 going into the deadline tomorrow. I'm going to decide on which of them I do bring in to replace Bruno Fernandes. But these are my 3 options at the moment. Up top, I have Erling Haaland away at Forest. He's also going to be my captain. He has a decent enough record against them, so I am going to leave the armband on him. Could have gone for Ekitike as my captain if I did have him, but I don't. So my armband is going to remain on Haaland, and Thiago is my second forward going into this game week. On my bench, I have Dubravka at home to Everton, Guehi at home to Tottenham, Goodmanson away at Sunderland, and Krupi Jr. away at Brentford. So this is what my team looks like for game week 18. This is my team selection. My vice captain is currently on Phil Foden. I am really confident of my team. Like I said, I may just move Minte to the bench and bring in the likes of Goodmanson or Guehi into the lineup, but those are also my transfer targets. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. If you're new around here, please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in the next FPL video.